Okay, hello everybody. I hope you're doing really well. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen today. I'm just about to prepare myself lunch, and I've had a real hankering for some good hearty food, some German food, and so I'm gonna do some sausages with some red cabbage, red sauerkraut, and with potatoes. So come on with me and let's do this.
Vor 100 Jahren noch mehr Prinz und Prinzessin für sich.
Okay, so to begin, I'm going to peel some potatoes. I picked up some red potatoes. I really like these, and they're nice and small, so yeah, they're gonna be good. So I'm gonna start by just peeling them, taking off the skins, and then I've got some water boiling, and we're just gonna cut these up a bit and boil them for about 20 minutes.
Man lang allein, wo so viele schöne Mädchen sind.
Okay, my potatoes are all peeled, and so now I'm just going to cut them up just a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to quarter them, each of them, because after I'm going to mash them. So just quarter these. And my water is nice and boiling here, so I'm just going to start to drop them in. Okay, so while my potatoes are boiling in the water, I'm going to cook my sausage. Now, there's different ways of doing this, but I just have come to like to just bake them in the stove. So I do them for about 10 or so minutes on one side, then I flip them and do it on the other side. And I just find they come out just perfectly. So I got these down at the local co-op grocery store here, and you want to get a good sausage. These are made actually at the butcher shop at the grocer's. So nothing beats these. These are so good. So I've got a few of these. I'm not going to eat them all today, although I probably could after the workout I did this morning. Yeah, I'll save a few. But so I've got my stove heated to about 425. I've just lined a baking sheet, and basically I'm just going to transfer my sausages onto the baking sheet. Okay, we got our sausages on our baking sheet, and so I'm just going to pop them into the stove here now. And I'm just going to keep an eye on them, and like I said, in about 10 or so minutes I'm going to just flip them over, okay? Okay, so now that my potatoes are boiling, my sausages are in the stove, I'm going to get my red cabbage ready. So again, this is the Kühne red cabbage. I got this at Safeway. I've actually made this from scratch once. Chopped up the red cabbage, put all the stuff in it, and cooked it and cooked it and cooked it. It's a lot of work. This is so much simpler. It's already ready to go, and this is really good stuff. So basically what I do is I'm just going to do a little frying pan, because only for me, and I like to add a little bit of butter just so it doesn't dry out. Okay, so you could use oil or oil and butter, but just a little bit of butter to the pan first. Sometimes I find this kind of dries out. You want to keep it that nice creamy consistency. So a little bit of butter in there. As that melts, we're going to add in our red cabbage. So.
Geselligkeit am Weiherrand.
So kind of an interesting little side story. When I went to Switzerland with my mom a few years back, we landed in Frankfurt, Germany, and then to switch planes to continue on to Switzerland. Coming back was the same. We landed back in Germany again. And if you know me, you know I like to shop for clothes and stuff like that. And so I thought we had some time while we were waiting for our connection flight to Canada. And so I found this really neat store, and I was looking through a bunch of stuff, and So of course I wanted to buy some clothes. I went up to the till and to use up some of my euros and that. And the guy told me that I needed my passport to show my passport in order to shop there. And I didn't have my passport on me. I left it with my mom, my carry-on baggage. So I'm like, okay, hold on, I'll be back. So I ran down to our area, and we were already boarding the plane. And my mom sort of was freaking out, wondering where I was. So I never did get those clothes. But anyway, that was a bit of my experience in Germany. Okay, so I just pulled my sausages out of the stove for just a minute here, and I'm just gonna flip them over. You can see they're turning a nice brown already on one side. So I'm just gonna flip them over. Then they're gonna go back in the oven. Okay, my potatoes are done. I poked them with the fork and they're nice and soft. So I'm just going to drain these. And then we're gonna mash them. So probably people have different ways of mashing. I'm gonna use the old-fashioned masher. And basically what I do is I just add some butter. I've seen people add milk, but I find that gets a little too runny for me. I like them a little bit kind of thick, so not so runny. So then it's just mash, mash, mash away.
Fort vom Stress unerhetzt wie den Tag bestimmt.
Okay, my sausages are ready. So I'm just gonna take a couple of these nicely cooked sausages and just set them on my plate. This one, 2 big ones. Save the rest for later. So my plate's looking pretty good. And I just took some fresh chives from my garden outside. I'm just gonna chop up a few little chives to put kind of on top of my potatoes. So just kind of on top of everything. Just to make it look really pretty. So just sprinkle some chives on there. Now, sometimes you could do a gravy with this, but I'm just gonna use mustard. I had some really good European mustard that was in a jar, and I used it all up, so I'm just using kind of regular mustard. But I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on my plate. And then, of course, nothing goes better with sausage and red cabbage and potatoes and a nice beer. So we're gonna do a beer. Yeah, jawohl. So here we go. I've chilled up my beer mug. Okay, so here we go. Guten Appetit. So let's take some of our sausage here and our mustard. Some of the potatoes, our red cabbage. Oh, that's good. Prost! Okay, thank you for joining me. Auf Wiedersehen.
Kommen Menschen her, in Jägersburg gefällt so sehr Geselligkeit.